The snow was still falling when the last car pulled away from the small cemetery on the edge of town. Gray clouds pressed low, and the air smelled of damp earth and cold pine. At the far end of the graves, a little girl stood alone, her black shoes sinking slightly into the slush. Her name was Lily, and she was only 8 years old. She clutched a worn teddy bear to her chest, the same one her father had given her when she was sick last winter. Everyone else had gone. The priest, the neighbors, even the distant relatives who had come out of duty, not love. And now, her father was gone too. Lily's stepmother, Karen, stood a few feet away, tapping her foot impatiently. Her coat was expensive, her makeup perfect, but her eyes were sharp and cold. "We're done here," she said flatly. "Get in the car." Lily looked at the fresh mound of earth, her small shoulders shaking. She wanted one more moment, just one, but Karen had already turned away. On the drive back to the house, the silence was heavy. Lily stared out the window at the familiar streets of their quiet Canadian town, feeling like she was watching someone else's life slip away. When they arrived, Karen didn't even take off her coat. She went straight upstairs, then came down holding a small suitcase. "Your things are packed," she said. Lily blinked, confused. "Packed? Why?" Karen's voice hardened. "You're not my responsibility anymore. Your father was the only reason you were here. I've called child services, but until they come, you can wait outside. I have guests coming." Lily felt like the ground had disappeared beneath her feet. "But, it's cold," she whispered. Karen opened the front door anyway. The door closed behind Lily with a final, hollow sound. She stood on the porch, suitcase beside her, teddy bear in her arms, snowflakes landing in her hair. She didn't cry at first. She was too shocked, too tired. She sat down on the steps and waited, not knowing what she was waiting for. Minutes passed, then longer. Her fingers began to sting from the cold. Her stomach hurt, not just from hunger, but from the deep, aching fear that no one wanted her anymore. A black SUV slowed as it passed the house. It stopped, then slowly reversed. A man stepped out, tall, well-dressed, his coat clearly worth more than everything Lily owned combined. He had kind eyes, though, and a look of concern on his face. "Hey there," he said gently. "Are you all right?" Lily shook her head, unable to speak. The man noticed the suitcase, the tears frozen on her cheeks, the way she clung to that old teddy bear. "Where are your parents?" he asked softly. "My dad, he died today," Lily finally whispered. "And my stepmom told me to wait here." The man's jaw tightened. He knelt down so they were eye level. "What's your name, Lily?" "I'm Daniel," he said. "And I think we need to talk to your stepmother." He stood and knocked firmly on the door. When Karen opened it and saw him, her expression changed instantly. She recognized him. Everyone in the region did. Daniel Harper was a well-known businessman, a self-made millionaire who owned several companies across Canada. "There must be some mistake," Karen said quickly, forcing a smile. "The child is just upset." Daniel's voice was calm but firm. "You locked an 8-year-old out in the cold on the day of her father's funeral." "That's not a mistake," Karen tried to argue, but Daniel had already pulled out his phone. "I'm calling child services and my lawyer," he said. "And I'll be staying right here." While they waited, Daniel wrapped Lily in his own coat and sat with her in the car, turning on the heat. He asked about her father, about school, about what she liked to draw. Lily slowly relaxed, feeling something she hadn't felt all day, safe. When child services arrived, the situation was clear. Lily would not be staying in that house. Over the next weeks, everything changed. Daniel, who had known Lily's father years ago from a small construction job before his success, offered to become her temporary guardian. Temporary turned into permanent. Lily moved into a warm home filled with light, kindness, and patience. She still missed her father every day, but now she had someone who listened when she talked about him, who helped her with homework, who sat in the front row at her school concerts. Years later, Lily would stand at a podium, speaking to a crowd about resilience and compassion. She would talk about the coldest day of her life, and how a stranger stopped his car and changed everything. She would say that family isn't always who you're born to, but who shows up when the world turns its back on you. And in the front row, Daniel would be there, smiling softly, knowing that sometimes, arriving at the right moment can turn a funeral into the beginning of a future filled with hope.